looking forward to seeing the scorecards. But in my opinion, Cbum should have won this show. All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Muscle Discord. Well, this is not the outcome I expected. This is not the outcome a lot of people in the industry expected, that Chris Bumstead would finish second at the Prague Pro. Yes, sure, there was lots of speculation. Who would come first or second? Would Martin win it? Would Chris have enough size and shape to beat a shorter, more compact bodybuilder like Martin Fitzwater? And when we saw the prejudging, we were all, for the most part, on the same page, having Chris Bumstead winning this show fairly clearly was the consensus across all the media outlets. But as you can see here, Cbum takes second at the 2024 Prague Pro. And I think this was a mistake. Now, obviously, Steve Weinberger, head judge, respected judge, he's been in this a lot longer than me. So we'll take his final judgment on it and respect it and respect the decision of the judges, because we have to. But doesn't mean we have to agree with the decision, because we all have our own opinions and we can decide what we think is right and what should have happened. But the judges had it. Martin Fitzwater, I'm looking forward to seeing the scorecards. But in my opinion, Cbum should have won this show. I think he did enough. I think he brought the conditioning, the size, enough size, fullness to do what he needed to do. And I just was a little bit, I was surprised. It felt they kept him in the center during prejudging. They didn't really move him around. You can even see here, like the size of Cbum standing next to Martin is just, you could see the difference there. And I don't know, guys, leave a comment below. Do you agree with the decision here for Martin Fitzwater? Some people do agree that he should have won, because they say, well, he is a bodybuilder and this is open bodybuilding, so he should have won the show. He was conditioned. To me, he was sweating quite a bit on stage, both prejudging and finals. It was really bad. And Chris was polished. His posing was polished. The conditioning was on point. He was dry. He had the size. The density, the separation, the detail in his muscle was much more prominent in the quads than it was for Martin. I just didn't see how he lost this thing. And like, look at the sculpted muscle here, guys. And I know that Tyler Mannion wasn't at the show, which is kind of crazy that he wasn't there, but because now we're not going to get a recap. We're not going to get a breakdown of this, because Steve's the head judge, and when Steve does these shows, there's no recap, unfortunately. And wouldn't we all love to see a recap of this show and the breakdown and who's winning each pose? Because I'd like to know which poses Martin beat Cbum in. Did he beat him in the back double bicep? Yeah. Did he beat him in the lat spread? That one's close, but okay, let's give that to Martin. Did he beat him in the front double bicep? I would say no. Did he beat him in the front Lat spread? Hell no. Did he beat him in the ab and thighs? No. Did he beat him in the side chest? No. Did he beat him in the side tricep? It's close. But that's why I'm thinking this should be a close call on the scorecards. This should be close. I don't think Martin walked away with this. I'm in shock that this physique wasn't enough to beat fourth at the Olympia. I can't, like, look at this. Why wasn't he rewarded for this? It's not like he wasn't in shape. He didn't have conditioning and size to the muscle. It doesn't make any sense. And I think a lot of people in the live stream were very, very unhappy, saying that Cbum's robbed. He was robbed from this win. He did everything. He came in perfectly peaked. Martin was watery. He was flat in prejudging. Yet that beat the GOAT. That beat the GOAT. Let's take a look at Martin here. Waist is a little thicker, as you can see, than Chris's. He looks good in the front double bicep, but he doesn't have very much separation in the biceps. The quads are softer from the front than Chris's. It's just not the same level of detail. Obviously, he has the thickness to the chest and the delts compared to Chris. You know, the side tricep is good. It's close between the two of them. You can see a little bit of skin fold back there, but the hamstrings and glutes are in great shape. His back double bicep needs more width still, but it's thicker and more dense than Chris's. So again, you give that to Martin. Ab and thigh is a good pose for Martin. You know, so that's one I would maybe, again, it's close. It depends on like which you prefer. But then you see here, it's kind of soft through the arms, the chest, the midsection. It's just not the same level of detail that you get from Cbum. There's no separation in the bicep. The quads are feathery, yes. Great, most muscular. He does win the most muscular. Again, I would like to know which poses they had him beating over Cbum. And the thing is, too, it's not just pose for pose. They think overall, okay, who just is more of a complete physique? And I guess they decided it was Martin. You know? I guess they decided it was Martin. And I disagree with that. I full-heartedly disagree with the decision that was made here. And I just want to bring up Mr. Shaun Clarida because he deserves a shout out here too. I was almost having Shaun beating Martin at this show. The level of conditioning and the detail. Look at the feathers popping in the quads there. It's just, he's got the freak factor. Polished posing, much better poser than Martin Fitzwater. He wasn't sweating profusely. So I would have no problem with Shaun Clarida beating Martin Fitzwater at this show. Crazy detail through the back. He's got the width in the lats, unlike Martin. Now, the only pose that isn't the best on Shaun is the rear lat spread, as you're going to see here. He needs to work on that, but it's a full developed back, top to bottom. Feathers in the quads, vascularity, conditioning, fullness, roundness. Shaun brought a much better, way more improved physique than he had at the Olympia. So he redeemed himself here. I'm sure he feels fantastic that he did this show and, placed well in this lineup. But guys, leave a comment below. I want to know your thoughts on Mr. Cbum losing this show, not winning the show, when after prejudging, the consensus was, he was winning this thing. You got Mateus in fourth, and Horse MD, who looks good as well, in fifth. So congratulations to those guys who also get to step on stage next to Cbum. I don't know. I'm just. I thought this. I think this is a missed opportunity, but it shouldn't be an opportunity. It should have just been the best man won, and I think Cbum was the best man on the stage, and the judges saw it differently. The judges are there. We're not. We're looking at the live stream, so we're gonna get a different take on what we see, and maybe in person it was a different story, right? But I don't think there was any size discrepancy for the most part overall, and I think Cbum held his own, and he should have came out on top. All right, guys. So leave a comment below, like the video, subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching and supporting the channel. And this was an epic battle. It was an epic, historic show. And Martin's punched his ticket to the Olympia 2025. Cbum, I think, is done. I think the missed opportunity was if Cbum would have won this show, he probably most likely had a higher percentage chance of doing the Olympia 2025, but now he's done. He's like, nah, the judges don't see it the way the rest of the world sees it, so I'm done. And he's going to walk away from bodybuilding. That's what's happened because of the decisions that were made. So it is what it is. Respect to the final decision of the judges. That's what they do for a living. We don't. So at the end of the day, we respect the decision of the judges, but it was awesome to see Cbum up there, fellow Canadian athlete on the stage representing Canada. So he will be missed. That was probably the last time you're ever going to see Chris Bumstead on that stage. All right, guys.